Well, I solved the problem of what to do when soldiers walk underneath the trees. Right now I've put together a simple script, press a button, and the tree disappears, revealing only a stump. It's actually pretty easy to set up. I already did it with one tree, but I'm going to have more than one type of tree in the game. So I'll do the same steps with another tree to show you how it works. I go to my conifers, go to prefabs. I already did this one. I think I'll do this one next. So I put it in the game scene. It's taking up a little space. Go ahead and take that tree out of the way. Alright. So we're going to want to increase the size of the tree a little bit. Okay, 1.4 looks like about the right scale for this tree. So the next thing we're going to do is look at what's under the tree. Because I had a real hard time cutting the tree in half before. The problem is you've got three separate models. You've got the billboard, which is actually a 2D version of the tree, but it's set up so that no matter what game you're making, you can just drag and drop the prefab. So in this case, we don't need the 2D version. Now this LOD 1 and 2, or 0 and 1, is level of detail. And if you're up really close, like in an RPG game right next to the tree, you're going to want level of detail 0. But this is an RTS, we're always going to be far away, so we don't need that much detail. LOD 1 is fine, and it uses less processing power that way. So what we're actually going to do is click on that and click duplicate. Then I'm going to rename the tree, and I'm going to move the tree up to here so it's its own tree. Now I'm just going to delete this old prefab, so I'm not changing the prefab, it's there if I want to use it later. And I take this tree and then I right click on it and I go to export to FBX, which you might not have. If you don't have it, just go to your package manager, click this little gear icon, and go to Advanced Project Settings. Make sure you click on Enable Pre-Release Packages. And close that out. Type in FBX and you're right there. I already set mine up, so I don't need that. But you go here, click Export to FBX. I'm going to select a folder. I actually made my own FBX folder. And then I'm going to go down to this export format. If you put ASCII, it won't work in Blender. What you need to do is switch that to binary, and then it works just fine. So you go ahead and export, and as you can see, my FBX folder already has that. It's got the two things I was working on before and this new tree. So now I hop over to Blender, click the general, hit the delete button so I don't have that cube. Now I go over to import FBX, go to GitHub, CADETLAND, assets, FBX, and we got tree conifer 2. So I'm going to import that tree. Now that the tree is imported, the next thing I do is I just click on it, and you can see the color change to yellow. So the next thing I do is I take out this little measuring thing. Actually, let me back up. First I go to viewport, and I look at it from the front. So I'm going to measure from the center, which is I guess where the ground is, and I want it to go up about 2 meters. That way it's tall enough for any soldier to hide behind if they're standing. But we don't want it too tall so it's in the way. The next thing we do is click this little down arrow, go to edit mode, and I click the knife. I hold down until I get the bisect tool. Now I remember that the measurement came to right here, so I drag across to right there. And this little bisect menu comes up here. I click the arrow, click fill, then clear inner. Let's try clear outer first. So what that has just done is it has given me the bottom part of the tree. So I'm going to go to save as, and I'm going to rename it. I created a file called Blender. Now we click save as. Then I don't even close this out. What I do is I just click the clear inner and unclick the clear outer. And now I click on file, save as, and I go down here, I erase trunk and type in top. And so now I save as again. And then that's it. I'm done with Blender. Now what I do is I go to my Blender folder and I take my two things that I just made and I click copy. I go back to Unity. I go to my FBX folder. I right click and I click show and explore, and it automatically takes me to the folder that it's at. So now I just click the paste button, and when I go back to Unity it imports. So now what I do is I'm going to go ahead and deselect this tree. I don't need it anymore. I have got my trunk, so I'm going to put that. Oh, let me back up for a minute. First, I'm going to create a new game object. Now I'm going to take this here tree and stick it in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take this tree right here out of there. Oh, you can't change the prefab. That's right. What I do is I duplicate this, then I send the duplicate to be a child of this one. And then after I'm done with that, I delete this entire game object because this has something else that, as you can see, changed both the lighting and the camera angle. I don't know why it does that, but just getting rid of it takes that away. So now I go to here, the top, I import it, it changes the cameras, that's alright, duplicate, move up to here, and now delete this, and it goes back to the way it was. Now we want to rename what we have here. Now if you'll notice here, the colors are completely messed up. Look at this. Now I'm going to take this game object away and look at what it started as. Now the problem with that is if you look down here, you'll see this has these different shaders. Over here, they have the same name as the materials, but they're completely messed up. It's actually a pretty easy fix though. What I do is I go to my conifers folder and I open the materials folder. Then I take this conifer leaf, stick it right there, and it replaces everything, and now we can see the leaves just fine. Now I go to the trunk, and the trunk is actually a little different too. Now it's replaced just the way it was before. Now the very last thing I have to do is go to my scripts folder, take this tree script, make sure you're on the empty game object, not the two child objects. Add that. I can grab a button, any button, since it's just for testing purposes. Add that. And now I click play. And it automatically makes the tree go away. So if you want to see how that script is written, it's only 20 lines. Remember to add unityengine.ui because it's a button. Later on it won't be a button, but for right now it is. It has a game object named top, and top equals transform.getChild1. Remember, numbering systems go 0 then 1, and so since over here the top is the second one, it's labeled as 1 in that numbering system. And don't forget the .game object, or else it's going to be grabbing a transform. Then all I do is I have one function, chop, and it says if the tree button is clicked, it goes down there, takes the game object, set active equal to false. It makes the top go away and the trunk is still there. So that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to figure out how to set it up so that this doesn't even use a button. And whenever the soldier walks under it, it goes away. And then as soon as the soldier leaves, it comes back. Thank you for watching another episode of SS Street Fighter. Leave a like, leave a comment, and click subscribe to join the Street Fighter army. I'd also like to send a thank you to my Patreon supporter, Charles.